Hey there, gang. So earlier last week, I proposed the theory that generator perks are actually very strong in the Blood Moon event mode. A lot of people really suggested otherwise because of the fact that there are 4 Blood Moon generators, there are only 3 regular generators, and if your generator perks don't affect the majority of the generators on the map, right, well surely that means that they must be terrible. And initially, I subscribed to this belief too. I thought that that makes total sense, right? Because how are you going to be able to maintain early to mid-game pressure if your perks aren't affecting the generators? But then I realized 4 of 7. So yes, your perks aren't going to have an influence in the early to mid game, but that late game, survivors still have to finish at least 1 regular generator, and these will be affected by your perks. So the impetus becomes less, I realized, in theory, on the early to mid game, and instead the pressure that you can establish during the late game. Once survivors run out of blood generators and they have to do those regular generators which are still on the map, and whatever state the team may be in at that point. Because when you're in a 1v3 situation with 3 regular generators, suddenly you're not really playing Blood Moon anymore. You know, you're playing regular DBD, except you're at a severe disadvantage, am I right? The experience becomes reminiscent, and in a good way for Killer, right? Which for survivors is something I've noticed they definitely don't appreciate. So what exactly is the build is it that we've been running in order to kind of facilitate this? I've been running Corrupt Intervention, Eruption, Forced Penance, and Dead Man Switch. Now, let's go over these perks because I bet a lot of them, or at least some of them, are going to be very interesting or confusing to some people, especially Corrupt Intervention. Why would I want to block 3 of the 7 generators at the start? Because these are the regular generators. Remember, Corrupt Intervention doesn't affect the blood generators, right? While some might think this is a bad thing in a universal level for generator perks, for Corrupt Intervention and the way that we are playing into this with wanting to defend our regular generators, this is literally the best perk in the event game mode. I want to be double down very, very clear. The fact that you can guarantee block every single regular generator that you were looking to defend anyways until the late game for 2 minutes until you start getting your snowball going, ramping up your first hook, that is the best value you're going to get in any build, probably on any killer if you are looking to hyper sweat in this game mode taking generator perks. I really cannot be more clear. This perk is amazing because again, 4 of 7, right? Well, those 3 can't be done. For a fact, you know that. And then once you get that hook going, you know what you've also got to defend these regular generators in the event survivors try to get them out in the early to mid game? Well, now you've got DMS. That's going to block it for 50 generators. If you get that off when a survivor is on the hook, that's almost a whole hook state worth of pressure, right? That's going to force survivors to have to come into unhook possibly earlier. You can then get yourself some Forced Penance value, which is why it's Forced Penance in this build, by the way. Some people really don't know how this perk works. In fact, I would go as far as to say a large majority of killers don't understand how this perk works. Not even just killers, probably even survivors too. See, Forced Penance is a perk meant to stop survivors from taking protection hits. A protection hit in conventional gameplay is going to be anything from a body block. So let's say I'm tunneling somebody, right? And their teammate wants to stop me from tunneling them. That's a protection hit. That's Forced Penance. Let's assume I'm carrying the survivor that I'm already, have been actively tunneling. Let's say I'm carrying them to their second hook, and then their teammates want to come in and stop me from hooking them. Protection hits. They're going to get broken for 80 seconds. Now, why is being broken for 80 seconds better or even more significant compared to something like Sloppy Butcher, which is mangled and hemorrhage for 90 seconds? Because being broken has 0 counterplay. The closest you will get to counterplay for Forced Penance is if a survivor brings Vigil, in which case they will reduce the duration, but there is no manner in which a survivor is capable of healing while they are broken. So given that they are broken for 80 seconds, which is the duration of a standard conventional generator almost, right? 10 seconds short of that, that pretty much means that when they take these body blocks at inopportune times, and then you end up re-tunneling their teammate, putting them on their second hook, you could possibly look to then tunnel that person, right? Or not really tunnel, but change targets while the person sits on the hook, because you can just default back to them later. And if not, if you end up getting a hook so soon after they take that body block, you can play into the confidence that because it lasts 80 seconds, that they are not going to be able to heal in order to contest an unhook. You are basically, they're going to be playing down down a survivor and coordinating that multiple man unhook save because they will only have one health state, which means at best they go down, they enable a snowball. The mere fact that they exist trying to contest with only one health state means they're not doing generators. There are so many ways where this perk will not only catch survivors off guard, but it will snowball your matches. And you will see at least one match in this video that I'm about to show you where this does the case. I love Force Penance in a more like old school traditional hyper tunnel, hyper camp aggressive play style. It is great for that. And that's kind of what you have to do if we're really going to like hyper sweat in the event with these generator perks, because you are playing into the late game, and playing into the late game, which is about, you know, defending objectives at stationary locations, both those regular generators and survivors that you may hook possibly within that 3-gen location to get the most out of your limited mobility. That is really where it's going to shine, having just all of this pressure from that Force Penance. And the last perk that we haven't talked about here, by the way, is Eruption. Now, I really normally don't run Eruption on Clown, but I feel like Eruption is great in this event with how we're playing, because you compare it to something like Jolt. Jolt doesn't require you to kick generators, which is really good, but survivors can corner map you, right? They can run to the corner of the map so you don't get Jolt value. They can hop into lockers, right? There are many different ways where Jolt's not going to be as great, because what happens, especially, here's another thing that has nothing to do with survivor gameplay. What happens if your 3 gens, right, your 3 regular generators are just beyond that 32-meter radius? You're likely only going to get 1 generator that gets afflicted by Jolt. At best, that generator may not even be the one actively pressured, so Jolt does nothing. Right? The benefit to Eruption is that since you're already playing so slow, since you're already playing into that late game, since especially you're going to have these opportunities when you have a survivor especially hooked within that larger radius, right, of your 3 generators, just kick those gens. You're kind of chilling anyways, right? Kick those gens, get the Eruption, you know, debuff applied to those gens, focus on your camp, your tunnel proxy, right? And then from there, once you down a survivor, boom, you got that regression, you got a little bit of R reading if you need it, and the fact that it's not limited by radius and it can be any of the generators, anywhere you down a survivor, this makes it so much more flexible in the event. Because again, I don't really think there's spawn properties that put the regular generators closer together, so having this compared to something like I said, like Jolt, is really, really good. However, if you really did want to swap this, because I felt like this was the weakest link in the perk build, you could really run anything from maybe something like Pop. You could even run something like some more gen blocking like Deadlock. That wouldn't be too bad for tunneling, right? Because again, what matters at the end of the day, while these only do block the 3 regular generators, those are the ones that matter most at the end of the day. Now, yeah, what happens if they pop 1 regular generator early? Let's kind of talk a little about tactics now. We've kind of talked mostly about the builds. What happens if survivors do look to pop a regular gen early and you're in a situation now where you've got 1 blood generator and 2 regular generators in the late game? You're still in a good spot. You know, it's only really, I would imagine, which hasn't really happened to me yet, by the way, just due to just happenstance, unless you're down to 1 regular generator and you have 2 blood generators left in your 3-gen, you likely are going to be able to defend against survivors. Having even just 2 regular generators with 1 blood generator, yeah, you know, that blood generator, you can't really do much about it. If it's close enough to your other 2 regular generators, maybe you can. And if not, as long as you are doing something to kind of keep them away from your regular generators, DMS being a great job of that, by the way, 50 seconds literally saying, yeah, you can't do this generator, so there are only 2 other generators in a 3-gen that you can do. You know, you can kind of play into it still. I had a couple of matches, I believe, yeah, where they did one of the regular generators early. So I was playing into only 2 regular generators, 1 blood generator in my 3-gen, still salvaged it though. Because again, like I said, this is a hyper camping, hyper tunnel play style and build. If you do eliminate a survivor early, especially utilizing Force Penance, so you're in a 1v3 situation, assuming you do come down to that, right? 2 regular generators, 1 blood gen, you should still be fine. And keep in mind, y'all, we're playing Clown. I'm a Clown main. I play Clown. Imagine if I was a Nurse main. Or imagine if I was a Blight main. Or imagine if I played Kaneki, right? You know, this isn't a Clown universal build. This is a hypothesis that I tested related to the game itself. And if anything, I would argue and go as far as to say the fact that I played Clown, who only really has micro going for him, with a play style that is more shifted and beneficial from a high mobility macro killers, that just puts on display, it emphasizes even more not only just how good these perks are, but just how much better you will probably perform if you were to play those killers. Especially since, again, you look at people like Blight, Nurse, and Kaneki, these killers arguably not only have just that better mobility, but better chase too, likely. Because M2 powers are very, very powerful, right? Clown may be the best M1, but that doesn't mean he's exactly the same or as good as some of these really high S tier M2s. So yeah, you know, I really recommend giving this build yourself a shot. When it comes to add-ons, add-ons are probably not really as necessary, especially kind of with the Eruption. I personally just wanted to hyper sweat it with Cigar Box and Garsh Makeup Kit. One of the nice things about Cigar Box when you are tunneling is if a survivor is off the record, you will know, but it also just has other benefits besides that, especially with just spotting survivors, playing the tiles, but with some of my other highlights showing, you know, it's not like we absolutely need that, am I right? Feel free to swap out Cigar Box if you don't want it. I highly recommend running something like Flask of Bleach. You could run Team Chib Noddle. There are just so many good add-on combos nowadays. But yeah, you know, other than that, I've got 3 matches coming up for you guys. Not 1, not 2. Yes, you heard me. 3. Putting on display why I believe in this current event that Gen perks are misunderstood by the majority of the player base. So if I haven't convinced you just yet, all I can say is stay tuned. So again, we're looking to, I put out a video talking about how to play Clown if you really want to sweat in the meta. So we want to identify 1, 2, 3. That's good. These are our 3 regular generators, our 3 non-blood generators. Corrupt Intervention is probably, if you are looking to actually sweat, one of the actual best perks in the game, and I'm not even kidding. No exaggeration, because you block. That should have hit. I disagree, but it's fine. Gonna look to go around. Gonna have to vault back. She's gonna have to go all the way through now, right? Okay, we just get caught on random shit. That's fine, though. Again, the whole point here is that we take advantage of Corrupt blocking the generators that matter. Yes, they're going to probably get blood generators, but that's fine. She's going to go all the way. Oh, wow, she actually goes for the yellow. Oh, she's better than me. This is great. I'm just throwing the fucking game. She's actually not bad. I'm not gonna lie. She's actually really good. Wow. But again, the 3 generators that matter are the 3 that are closer. I would have liked to get some earlier down pressure sooner, but I mean, we did still technically block what we had. However, it's at least good to kind of fucking look at it, at least. Would have liked to have that a lot sooner, but... Alright, so what are the 3 generators? 1, 2, 3. I kind of want to tunnel, believe it or not, but we also do need to play into the gens that matter. That's good, we blocked that one. Let me check up here. Let's block 2. 1, 2, 3. Let me go check over here. We're gonna get ready to camp now. We've got DMS early. DMS is really good. DMS allows me really potentially play into this. Remember, this is blocked for 50 seconds. I want to push her this way. Take this tag and break. Good macro pressure. Makes it harder to where she can't body block. One of the nice things about Cigar Box is I can tell when I'm within that 16 meters. Remember, this is still blocked by DMS. I want to get ready to set up basement here just in case. This is just in case someone somehow manages to sneak in. She might actually... Oh, wow. Nope. Damn, that's a fucking shame, isn't it? Oh! Force Penance onto him so he can't heal. Yes, we purposefully waited for him to unhook so we'd make sure that we apply Force Penance. Oh, they actually got unhooked. Garsh Makeup Kit. Oh, she actually gets that. That's fine. We just gotta make sure we force her through. One more time. Just bloodlust this. Reload just in case. She may have DS. They committed a lot of resources for this, but she is on death hook. Did they get the gen that matters, though? Yes, they did. So they did technically... Yeah, so one of the problems here, Clown doesn't have really the macro to defend this properly. We do force everybody injured, but does it matter? Maybe? Well, we did get our early tunnel out. We'll have to see. Remember, we are testing to figure out the builds. Bludgeons matter less than the others. I'm gonna go check this. Ooh, hold on. We're gonna actually commit to this because we got so... Oh, right, we hooked her, so she is fucking dead hard. What a fucking joke of a game. Okay, we'll go check back this way. I'll go kick this and then rotate, believe it or not. Grab a fucking dead hard, dude. My bad, gang. Let's see. One, two. We technically have a 3-gen here. We have DMS active. Keep that in mind, too. 1, 2. So having DMS active like this is actually really, really nice. I kind of don't want to over-camp the 3-gen, but... see if we can springboard. Going over here. Remember, we do have DMS, so whenever they do get on a regular gen, we have that for that. They probably went far away to hard reset. They really waited out that force penance. I mean, that does give me some passive regression, am I right? That does technically just give me more passive regression on the bludgeon. There is advantages to that. Huh, interesting. They fail a healing skill check? That wasn't a window vault. They had to have been a healing skill check. Remember, she's also been hooked already. She didn't see me. Interesting. Lovely. I want to hook her aggressively toward my 3-gen. Oh, I think she's giving up, gang. I don't think she wants to smoke. I don't blame her. This is a pretty sweaty build in a meme mode, but we are genuinely, like, we're experimenting, right? So we get this hook right here. Believe it or not, I want to see if I can fish for DMS. I'm not really interested in proxying this hook at the moment. Perfect. That's all I wanted. So look at that. 50 seconds in this mode is actually very crippling. This is still regressing, so that's good. That's really all I need right now. DMS, I think, in this mode, it's not a full hook state, but it's so good. Yeah, she gives up on hook. I don't blame her. I don't blame her, gang. But yeah, really, really, really good setup there. We still got 1, 2. We've got a good 3-gen. 2 kills. At this point, it's kind of a wrap. Ah, shit. What are they on this one? Understandable. Bit of pink right here because I expect them to... Ooh, hold on. He's going around, actually. Hold on. Oh, I see her. Ooh, I really, really like this padding. Alright. Alright, gang. Alright. We'll let him go, gang. It's the event. Look, we won. We proved our point, right? We proved our point. We won. You know, good demonstration, right? I kind of like this, yeah? The force penance pretty clean. Well, I'm good hatch, gang. I'm satisfied with this outcome. Oh, shit. Fuck it, we'll let him get a couple hooks in. Come on. I'll let him get a couple hooks, gang. Is she not gonna go for it? No. I was gonna let her get some last minute BP, gang. I was actually gonna let him get some last minute BP. I understand. Okay, I don't blame her. Because, Leon, Corrupt blocks all of the non-blood generators for the first 2 minutes, and that is insane. Because remember, there are only 4 blood generators. 4. Survivors have to repair 5 generators to get out, which means they have to repair a regular generator, right? So if you block all of those for 2 minutes, that sets you up so far ahead when it comes to both early and late game, right? When it comes to stopping survivors from getting those gens done. I'm gonna let her go. In the spirit of the event, we give Hatch. They played well. And you know, they put up with my shit. Because this is for science. I know for a lot of y'all, you're like, you're just being toxic. No, I hope y'all understand I'm literally just, we're experimenting, you know? Gosh, that sounds like such a troll. I'm sorry in the grand scheme, but no, hear me. Oh, here it is. Very wholesome, dude. That's what I love to see, man. Man, people like this give me actual hope in the survivor. So I'm usually not the biggest fan of ending up on Backwater Swamp, and this is usually just because the strength of the main building. Although Pale Rose is not nearly as bad as Grim Pantry, if survivors know how to play it, they can still give you a rough time. You don't typically want to end up at boat unless you're kind of playing into some type of desperation play, right? Maybe you're chasing a survivor who you've already previously hooked, they're on death hook, or you just need to get something going when you're so far behind and you can't just cut your losses, you know, especially on account of Clown's poor map mobility. So that's kind of why I'm not the biggest fan of this map, but if you can stay away from main building, then it's a whole lot better. I mean, really, honestly, besides the big boat, the little boat can be a little, you know, bad, and then there's Killer Shack, but other than that, the tiles are pretty manageable. Now, what took place in our match here, though, was I had a bit of a rough early game. I'll be honest, this Kate really gave me the runaround, right? My first down didn't come till probably well over 60 plus seconds into the match. Corrupt Intervention was sitting there and doing its job, but that's literally the whole point of the perk. That's why we brought Corrupt Intervention, because, hey, sometimes you're going to have that type of chase, and it's extremely important, and I mean extremely important, that they don't finish one of those 3 regular generators. You don't bring Corrupt Intervention, you fall behind. I mean, you're just basically selling the game from the very beginning. You know, why take that risk when it's only a single perk slot and you get that guaranteed assurance for 2 whole minutes? There are very few situations that you'll likely have where 2 minutes will elapse and Corrupt is going to expire and you still don't have it down. You know, you should still have your first down by then. Corrupt will then expire early and you just keep going. But with the momentum that comes from a hook, while survivors, you know, for a fact, haven't gotten any repair progress on those regular generators. And where this snowballs further is because you have Dead Man Switch. In the event that survivors start working on those regular generators right after Corrupt Intervention goes away, well, now you block it with Dead Man Switch. You reduce the number of generators you need to patrol for 50 seconds from 3 down to 2, which makes it easier on your limited mobility. And if you hook within your 3-gen, which is kind of what we did, we hooked near the corner of the map near Killer Shack, this makes it so much harder for survivors to proxy. and it's to get around your proxy, excuse me. And this is a big deal because if survivors have to manage one of those 3 regular generators being blocked for 50 seconds by DMS, that's basically a whole hook state. They can't really count on being able to get any lasting gen progress during that first hook stage. It's not really worth it to just let the survivor hit second now. In this case, you almost just force survivors to have to go for an unhook attempt by virtue of running Dead Man Switch. And that was where we brought our pressure back. Because normally we were slated to probably, in a regular standard game, I don't think I would have won this match because the whole insistence on defending the 3 regular generators, it wouldn't have really been the case here because they'd break the 3 gen early in a standard match and just do any of the other generators, right? We're capitalizing on the fact that, yeah, they're 4 blood generators, but it doesn't matter. You still got to get one of these regular 3. And that basically, with our perks, did so well for us when we forced them to have to come in for the shack. We downed Sable on the unhook attempt after Kate hit second. And this meant that in addition to having Kate on death hook, Sable is a backup on a regular hook. I just need to get Kate out of the match, and then that's pretty much close to game, because once I put Sable on a hook, they're not going to be able to get anything going with only 2 survivors who are able to do either blood generators or regular generators, let alone even considering going for the unhook. It becomes so much easier on account of how the objectives shift for the survivor side of things for you to proxy camp and just tunnel in the way that we have. And again, we brought forced penance. So survivors trying to body block for their teammates, we saw that a couple times. All it results in you getting broken for 80 seconds and you're just setting yourself up to be another domino to fall in play. If I end up coming across you after I took out your teammate and you're still broken / injured, well, now I just take you down 2. And if I've got a kill at this point, that's just probably 2 kills, 3 kills. Maybe I win the match off of that, right? So forced penance is very, very underrated, and a lot of survivors aren't prepared for it. And it was being able to, after we hooked Sable, we went for Kate. We were able to lock her into the corner of the map. Kate didn't have any anti-tunnel perks. That was our first kill. We just kind of then played the long game. I stalled things out and waited until we got a notification for where Sable was. We then killed Sable. And yeah, it was exactly like I said. Once you get 2 kills, you're just kind of cleaning up the match. The match is basically won at that point, especially when you've got multiple generators still remaining. So I think this was a very good early, first introduction for what I'm trying to, show you guys as a result of my research here, is that, yeah, this build is actually really, really good, even if you do fall behind, because this is definitely not a perfect demonstration of what things look like when you do play really well, right? I had a bad first chase, which is the worst time to have any type of chase that's bad on Clown, is at the very beginning, because survivors have the most momentum, right? Not so much in this case. So coming up next, we've got a match. Let's see. This one's on Fractured Cowshed. And Cowshed, after the changes, I think has been made a lot more friendlier for Killer. However, what y'all are going to notice is, like I said, in addition to that, just by shrinking the map and just the generator placements, you combine the fact that Survivor is playing in a 1v3 situation, it becomes so much harder to contest themselves against these perks. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, back for some Cowshed. Let's get right into it. Corrupt Intervention blocking all of our 3 regular generators. This is good. This gives me the early pressure I need. So again, we don't really typically care for the blood generators, but what I do care for is getting some early pressure while we have that 2 minutes, because I don't really want the bludgeons getting done too early. We catch her on the tile chain, which is good. She's not going to have anything here. Pallets right there. Good to know. She's actually going to be looking to probably rotate. Good flick of the wrist. You have to drop this. She's playing very intelligently, FYI. She has to drop this. What's up, baby girl? Wow, didn't need any fucking bottles to mind gain you there. Woo! Alright, so they did a blood gen, that's fine. Remember, got Shack out the way, hooked her early. We want to kind of play into that proxy. DMS active, 1, 2, 3, where's my third? 1, 2, 3. Actually, not the best placement. No progress on these gens. I'm not really, again, like I said, all that concerned. That's fine with me. 1, 2, 3, rotate. Main reason I'm rotating, because I don't know what player number 4 is doing. If player number 4 isn't going for the save, then I'm primed. Fine with me, you're not doing anything with that yellow anyways, my guy. Go ahead, take that yellow. What are you gonna do with it? 1, 2. We're gonna tunnel with this. Force Penance now applied on the Claude for afterward. Please body block for me. Yes, take that. Now you're Force Penance too. Do you see why we're running Force Penance? Perfect. I'm gonna reload first, simply because of the fact that she could have DS, and I wanna have bottles for that for the transition. We're gonna actually put a pink right over here because I do expect her to possibly, if she is gonna DS, she's gonna go right. No? Good. Remember, we do have DMS. We're gonna be looking to proxy our regular gens. Where would they have rotated to, you think? Down them kind of over here. Let me go kick this. Accidental bottle, but it works. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we do have DMS. DMS has no timer on it. Yeah, they get these blood gens done, but if I'm watching my regular 3 gen, what does it matter, you know? We're gonna kind of close in a bit on our distance. We're gonna start getting some pink set up around here. Oh shit, they actually stuck around me. We're gonna slug here. We're gonna reapply Force Penance, by the way. She just got rebroken for 80 seconds, and now we tunnel out Nancy. She's gonna want to take this. That pink is so good, but I don't know if it actually helps out enough. She's got a pal right here, I think. I'm just gonna kick because I want to push her. I might get ready to actually break chase here because of all of the... Hold on. She's broken too. Rebroken. Force Penance back onto her. That should have hit. I lagged a bit, but okay. Perfect. Now, believe it or not, just in case she actually saved DS, I'm gonna actually hook this person first. Can I interrupt with this? I don't think she has any anti-tunnel still. Perfect. Now, which gen did they get done? Regular or no? If no regular gen, then we're good. No DMS has been active. 1, 2. I think we're actually fine on our 3 gen. 1, 2, 3. We are. 3 gen is still a hunky dory. We see him over here. He's the only healthy survivor. I want to make him think that we're pressuring him, and then I want to go see if I can get a DMS check real quick. Okay, so we know what everybody's been up to then. Oh, wow, he actually rotated quicker than I thought. This is actually what I want. I'm gonna kick this. Perfect. Does she not know that I can hear her? Remember, they did drop Shack already. We still have DMS. It's what's so great about DMS. Did I overshoot? No, I didn't. Perfect. Clean. Clean pink placements. We'll go ahead and just... Do I want to hook basement or no? We'll hook basement. Yeah, we'll hook basement. Why not? Lots of good 1v3 pressure at the moment. Remember, DMS still to clinch us that 50-second denial here. I think they're starting to feel that pressure. There we go. Look at that, 50 seconds. They didn't have much progress at all anyways, right? So now we just kick them off for the entirety pretty much of this hook state. I'm gonna go ahead and reload confidently, because even though they get this unhook with DMS and everything, he actually doesn't see me through window. Again, I'm fine with this, because he's gonna reset DMS. I'm almost willing to slug him to reset DMS too. Perfect. We're gonna hold off just a minute. Oh, they actually want to do both. That's fine. We have just enough time for this. Perfect, perfect. We're just gonna get this tag, and now we're gonna go apply DMS onto this gen. She left early. That's smart. Yeah, you're right, that is kind of a gross name, huh? Perfect, there's that DMS I was talking about, gang. Look at that. That's the rest of the hook state now, so I don't have to worry about this. They have to heal at this point, but that's okay. Fine with me. Again, this is all science. People wondering why we're sweating this so hard in the event. We're doing this just as a test. This is a follow-up to a previous video I put out. They've got no one who can get the save off right now in a 1v3 situation. Ooh. Risky. Ooh. I like her. Whoa! Where's my Zan? Oh, right, we don't have Zanshin. My bad, gang. Oh, you were on the gen, weren't you, my guy? Damn, that's quite the shame, huh? You're gonna concede that pallet, huh? Holy shit. Titties. Again, DMS reactivated. I'm not gonna kick just yet, not that we technically need to like this late in the game, but we're going to be stalling our eruption kicks until it's off cooldown. Because again, they have to do these regular generators. They can do the last blood gen if they want. They're not getting out if they just do that, you know? So we kick that. Eruption is now put onto one of our 3 in the 3 gen. And we could just play this slow. If I really wanted to, I could just play this slow in a 1v2. DMS has no timer. Notice how DMS is just sitting there waiting to get value? Outside of the guide, really? Yeah, I guess I think I just say the word concede, right? Or they agreed. I think I've been using more like colloquial terms following some recent developments. Let's see. What a name by this Claude, though, I gotta say. DMS active. Which gen? Maybe that yellow one over there? No way, dude. My pink faked her out, y'all. My pink faked her out. That's actually crazy. Y'all, she saw my pink and she's like, I'm gonna try chaining instead. That's awesome. Oh, man. Is she on Deathhook? I can't remember. No, she's not, I think. Yeah. So again, we reapplied DMS. Oh, right, because there's no bludgeons left. Okay. That's pretty cool. Kick this again for Eruption. This might be it. I kind of like this build. What do y'all think? Do y'all think this is the meta Super Sweat event build? Hold on a minute. Where is she? I have a feeling. Okay, I thought she had like a silencing perk and she was in one of these lockers. They GG well played. That's so awesome, dude. We're getting so many kind people coming through my matches. That's so sweet. Oh, man, look at that. Y'all are talking shit about this Claudette's name, but she's actually so wholesome. Look at that. I mean, I don't blame you. Look at that name. What kind of fucking name is that? Am I right? Am I right? Like, y'all... GG's fun stuff. So like I was saying, after the rework, Fractured Cowshed really isn't that problematic for Clown. You might have a couple of tiles here or there, which you either need to work your brain a bit, maybe kick the pallets early, right? Cow tree, I think there was like that one big hay bale with the truck. You also have a pallet usually on the inside of the cowshed. And yeah, those pallets you will end up kicking, but everything else you can play pre-drop, yellow-pink bottles. You know, it's just a whole bunch of dead zones and fillers, and Clown excels very well there. Your main issue when you end up on Cowshed against a team like this is not going to be the map itself, it's going to be their builds. And you look at these survivors, and they had some pretty damn good perks. Anywhere from just the Syringe onto the Claudette, you've got Dead Hard onto the Felix, Yunjin had Anti-Tunnel, which thankfully we didn't have to deal with, and Nancy even brought Borrowed Time. So this survivor, to some degree, even if they possibly may have been playing solo queue, there was some macro coordination within their builds, and we even saw that coordinations from their playstyles. Like, for example, you look at what happened after we hooked Nancy first. She was our first target. We got our first hook onto her, and I was just proxying around where we had hooked her, waiting for that tunnel. I knew that someone was going to be coming in when I couldn't get an initiation onto a different survivor, and I wanted to make it outright that, yes, I'm going for this Nancy. I'm taking this Nancy out of the match. Try and stop me. So what did they do? They tried to stop me, but that's the problem. We're Clown with Forced Penance, and when you get in the way of Clown and Forced Penance, if you're not doing it at the right time, you're just setting your whole team up for failure. Because Forced Penance is an anti-macro perk when it comes to healing. It's effectively removing overall health states from your team for 80 seconds, and that is a long time. Think about that, 80 seconds. That's almost the duration of a generator without any modifiers. So when a survivor at the wrong time, which is, say, if I'm chasing a survivor through a dead zone and they're not even running to a strong tile, taking the body block there, all you're really doing is maybe like stalling me out by at best literally 2 to 3 seconds. You are breaking yourself for 80 seconds. Since your teammate is going to a weak tile, I'm still going to be killing them like 10 to 15 seconds afterward. And now you're still going to have 60 to 70 seconds on your broken timer to where you can't do anything. That's almost a full hook state. And by the way, once that 60 to 70 broken timer expires, you have to heal next. You're not just automatically healed once Forced Penance expires. No, you're still injured. So that's going to be, what, another 16 to 20 seconds, depending on travel times, grouping up with survivors to heal you, whether or not you use your own med kit. So Forced Penance is deceptively very, very good, and we saw this here because we tunneled the Nancy, we went and got her on the second hook while we had broken onto Yunjin and Felix, and then what happened? We went for Nancy again, we reapplied broken, I think, onto Claudette, we reapplied broken onto the Yunjin, and we just kept stacking this broken across almost every survivor on the team, I believe. They just kept doing what they could to protect the Nancy, but the issue is that Nancy doesn't have anti-tunnel perks. She has perks to support the teammates getting tunneled, right? If her teammate doesn't have anti-tunnel perks and I wait out the base get BT, well then Nancy's got them covered. But if she's the one being focused and no one else has BT, well then she's kind of screwed, right? And even then, if I'm not even looking to hit her during the base get BT, if she doesn't have anything like a Dead Heart, if she doesn't have anything like a DS or an Off the Record, well then the body blocks don't really accomplish anything if she's not getting to anywhere strong, you know? So that was just what was so great. We were literally, this was a match almost definitively won by Forced Penance. And it's, I would say, one of the reasons I even wanted to show this match for you guys is why Forced Penance is in this build. It also gave a little bit of love to Eruption. We were able to slow things down in the end game, and that's why Eruption is in this build. You know, if you're in a 1v3 situation, maybe even a 1v4, and you just need something to get that global generator instant regression presence, well, there's Eruption, right? Because when you're defending those 3 regular generators and you don't know where they're going to spawn, Eruption's got you covered. There's no corner running to a corner as a survivor in order to counter Jolt against Eruption because Eruption is global, and that is why I prefer it in this type of build. So I think this was a pretty good match too. Otherwise, you know, like I said, this was pretty much just a straightforward match of us just defending the 3-gen, hooking within our 3-gen, proxying to get the activation of DMS. We had some really, really great late game stall as a result of running DMS and Eruption with getting that early kill onto the Nancy. And this next match is going to be also, it's a very delayed 3-gen situation, but that's the whole point, right? Even though we're kind of getting into these long drawn out matches, we're able to stay in a match that we otherwise couldn't on account of Clown's poor macro mobility. So it's what I really like about this build, and especially, like I said, if you are looking to grind blood points, if you are struggling, perhaps this definitely is the build for you. Looks like we got some new map action. Alright, so here's our 3 corrupt gens. 1, 2, 3. These are the gens that matter most. And we've got 2 minutes of protection on them, despite our poor macro. Isn't that amazing? We're playing Clown with this poor mobility, and yet I get 2 minutes. Peace of mind. We showed our red stain, which baited her into a vault, and then we capitalized on the remaining duration of our movement speed in order to catch her. Really good first chase. I'm actually going to hook up it aggressively here. If they body block, that's Forced Penance. Remember, we have DMS active. I'm not really as concerned with these blood generators, but given that this is first hook, I like her name at least. She seems very kind. She's probably like, Mr. Clown, please don't sweat on us. Oh no. You're getting the sweat. Did someone say tunnel wunnel? We purposefully wait. How is that not Forced Penance? We intentionally hit her to try to apply Forced Penance. Oh man, you just got maneuvered. Reload first, just in case of DS. Why did I stand still for a minute, some people might be wondering, because I knew she was going to be playing a check spot while moving. She was going to be camping the check spot, she was going to play the check spot as she rotated. So if I hold a minute, she doesn't play the check, she keeps going, she runs into me, oh shit, it's Clown, boom boom, GG's. 1, 2, 3. Remember, we've got 3 gens we gotta look at, gang. At this point, I am gonna be doing a little important maintenance here. No sprint burst and I get a tag for free. Give me that. Remember, we do have DMS. I want to check this first. Alright, red stain. Same thing. Oh, shit. Perfect. Does Old Eerie not exist? It does, but there's now a second map. Isn't that lovely? Hooking her in this corner is actually really, really good. We've got something to proxy to. Remember, DMS just sits there and chills till we need it. You know? We're gonna now rotate to this gen. This gen matters. We want to get an Eruption kick going on it, possibly. Maybe even a Hell State. Nothing. That's always good. That's always good. Cross up. That crow tells me someone could be going this way. Someone's here. I saw blood. Remember, it doesn't matter if they get blood gens done in the grand scheme of things. Ooh, perfect. Body block for me, my guy. Thank you. I think we have time to play into this. Oh man, look at that pink bottle placement. Oh man, look at that pink bottle placement! Can I help you? Give me this pad out the way. Drop it. Oh shit. Damn. Good thing they fixed those timings, am I right? Alright, let's go get DMS value. I'm gonna actually rotate. We need to check these reg gens. Regular generators. Rotate here quick. I know that one's... Now what? Oh, that was a bad decision because you just go back into the pink and now you're cut off. Smart pathing. Wait, is this a double pallet? Holy shit. Alright, so this is a test to see what we can do with our 3-gen situation. She's dead. That's good. Rotate. Remember, we have DMS and we have Eruption and we have... Where's Penance? 1, 2, 3. Nothing to work with on these regular gens. That's fine. I just want to get a DMS going. I want to, since they've got no progress on any of these gens, I just want to lock them off. I want to actually lock them off here. Make them force me to give me attack. Look at how desperately they're trying to get this. Rotate. It's very important, by the way, that I stall out this DMS. Look at this, y'all. They just can't get going. They can't even get toward the gens. I want to take this tag and then break. Remember, we do have DMS. I want to get DMS on cooldown. She's on Deathhook, isn't she? Good, that's a 2K. Oh shit. No. She's gonna get a window here. No, please get back! Please! Alright, that's a 2K, right? 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect, DMS active. I don't know if she thought I was trolling, but no, we were stalling out DMS gang, and I was making sure she wouldn't jump off in time. Nothing over here. I'll kick for Eruption in a minute. I want to get DMS first. Perfect, DMS on that gen. Now we go kick this one for Eruption. Go check the other. Oh man, you're so lucky I got caught. I should have hit your ass. Good chase, GG's. Oh look, DMS. And there it is. Come on, go! Go! You got deli, don't you? Oh, you got deli, don't you, you little stinker? You got deli, don't you, you little stinker? Come on, hit me with the deli. Hit me with the deli. Come on. You're 99ing that shit, aren't you? I'm gonna pull back a bit. Hold on. Hold on. Hit me with that fucking deli. Come on. Come on! Come on! Come on! Okay. We're Fred on hook. You're good, dude. You're good. GG Sins. Y'all, that seems like such a telegraph deli play. I'm sorry. I feel like Eruption really pulls the build together if you need it. I know we haven't seen the most Eruption value, but I like it. I like Eruption in this build. And DMS having no duration, just sitting there when you need... Oh, that's amazing. Crushing 3-gen? Yeah, Clown normally doesn't, like, hold 3-gens very well. Now, I haven't played on the new Dead Sands map a whole bunch recently, ever since it came out, probably about a good handful of times, maybe under 10. But what I can say in my experience so far is that I'd say it's a pretty balanced map. It's similar to Wrecker's Yard and Rotten Fields in a lot of ways, where you don't have a main building, you just have Killer Shack in the center. But it is very tile dense. I mean, there are filler palettes and jungle gyms everywhere. So unlike a map like Rotten Fields, which isn't very palette and tile dense, right? There's like only Cow Tree and the Killer Shack when it comes to Rotten Fields. This map has like LTs, it's got double pallet loops, it's got new organic jungle gyms, it still has the Killer Shack, it has a couple of small rock loops, small wall tiles, you know, like, but it's got everything and a bunch of it. So I feel like that's why I would say in a way when it comes to being balanced is because I feel like with respect to Clown can play some of those tiles. Maybe your experience on a different killer will vary. You know, I can only really speak from the experience that I have. Am I right? But yeah, I mean, I have a pretty decent experience is the best way of phrasing it in Chase, I feel like, when I play on this map. Now, how about this team? How did this match go? Well, for one thing, looking at these builds, these weren't even some hardcore builds. I mean, hell, two of the survivors didn't even bring items. And of the ones that did, we just got a gray medkit with no add-ons. Think about that too, by the way, how easy it is to have and use add-ons on like your item as a survivor, especially if you're like this Kate who is prestige 100. You know, she's got add-ons for her medkits. She's not out of them. She's just choosing not to use them, which is pretty based. Definitely based to be Prestige 100 using a gray med kit, no add-ons, not even like bandages. So props there. But even so, right, they got us down to a one-gen situation right as I got my first kill. And that's usually not very good. See, we had some great chases. We had, what was it? So Mikaela on Death Hook, I believe, very soon. We also had a hook onto Feng, and I actually got her onto Death Hook as well with some very fast chases. But at the end of the day, you know, the blood generators can get completed faster. They focus those blood generators too. So they got numerically 4 generators done, but they did only the blood generators. None of the regular generators were completed, and thankfully all of them were on one side of the map in like a straight line. So this meant that I could just create like a choke. I could just slice off the rest of the map, and I could just look for a pick. Any survivor who gives me a free tag that I can convert into a very quick down, I go for that. If they don't, I just sit in my 3-gen. You know, because what are they going to do? Come get a couple little mingling bits of progress here and there? Okay, fine. Now I get to kick it, and now I've got permanent eruption just sitting on that generator, waiting for me to down a teammate. And then from there, you're going to get that 10%, which again, once I hook that person, DMS, right, in a 1v3 situation, which makes it even harder for them to get any generator progress. Since now there's only 2 generators that need to be patrolled, you still got a survivor sitting on the hook who even knows what you have in the way of health states. And if Forced Penance is in play, there's even less you can really do when it comes to salvaging that 1v3, am I right? So things just become really, really good for us on account of the fact in this match that yes, even though these survivors were efficient, even though, right, like we got equivocally almost the same number of hooks it felt like per generator, that's how fast they were, they didn't get any of the regular generators done. So my perks were just in full swing. We killed Mikaela, we found Feng, we killed Feng, and I could just relax at that point, you know? It's the same thing. You got 2 survivors dead, there's only 1 left. And what really mattered the most in winning this match, by the way, in addition to us just having that 3-gen that I was talking about, it was very important that we at least did kill Mikaela. If Mikaela and Feng were both still up, and let's say I had a rough time taking one of them out, they very likely would have still gotten these gens done, because I talked about this, right? One of the big issues with Clown in defending a 3-gen is that all it takes is 2 survivors on a generator, about 50 to 52 seconds, and that generator gets completed from 0 progress to full, right? So you need to essentially prevent survivors from having two people sit on a gen. What's the best way of doing that? Get a survivor out of the match. Have not only your generators being in close proxy, but taking someone out of the match, because now it's even harder if you get someone else in chase. Yeah, there could be 2 survivors who could group up and coordinate to get on a generator, but once you start just playing into health states and you start injuring that third person of the, 1 of 3 left, you go for their teammates, you split them off their 2-man, right? Suddenly things aren't so simple when it comes to we just group up and get this generator done in 50 seconds, you know? So that's why it's very important to you enter that 1v3 situation when you're at 1 gen remaining. And yeah, the fact that we had Feng on Death Hook, that was just bonus points, you know? Personally, I would have preferred to kill Mikaela sooner. I would have preferred not to really so much go for Feng. Why did we go for Feng? Some people might be wondering. Shouldn't I have proxied the hook earlier on Mikaela in the beginning? I wanted to go back to my generators since I was afraid that if I just stayed really close to the Mikaela on the other side of the map, well, what if they're 2-manning a gen? You know, we didn't see anyone buy our gens. We just stumbled across the Feng out in the open. She was trying to hide. But if there was, say, Feng and Renata working on a gen, Feng and Kate, that gen's done in 52 seconds. That's less than a hook state. They break my 3-gen. And against a team like this, with how efficient they were, it's very likely that getting 3 kills would have been as guaranteed or as assured had they broken the 3 regular generators early, because those blood generators, in order for us to really defend them with what we have, both when it comes to our build and our limited mobility, it has to be pretty close to the other remaining generators, which it wasn't. You know, you look at where the blood generators were by comparison, we had the best spawns in our favor with regard to our regular generator spawns. Sometimes they spawned further away, ours were pretty close. and that played a pretty large factor in us being able to win this match. But other than that, I think that just about wraps up everything I've been wanting to show you guys. Like I said, I feel like this build will do so much better on a killer that's not Clown. However, we got great results with Clown, so that gives me confidence to recommend it to you guys. Perhaps you guys in your matches will also do well. Now, some of the perks may be flexible, but I wouldn't really recommend it. I really like Eruption in these delayed situations, especially like what we saw in this last match. I also like having Force Penance for those gratuitous body blocks like we saw in match 2. And similarly, having DMS and Corrupt Intervention for match 1 where you fall behind, that shows why it can be game changing. If we didn't have Corrupt Intervention in that first match, I probably wouldn't have won, I'll be honest. The first early chase matters most. So the event, I believe it's not meant to be sweated this way, but I just figured some people might appreciate this type of science. Upcoming soon, later this week, I do have a video on the PTB. I've tested the new haste changes, and I'll be honest, gang, for those that initially were a little despondent about it, I myself being one of those people, I was feeling pretty sad about them removing haste and hindered stacking. Depending on the direction behavior seems to be taking things with the PTB, this may actually be good for Clown. So stay tuned for that on new info about the PTB. I'll be putting a long video on that, hopefully, like I said, sometime this week. But I think that just about wraps up everything I have to say here. If you're interested in learning how to play Clown better, I have a very detailed Clown guide that I'll be sure to link in the description. And also, I stream live on Twitch typically during the weekdays, usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. I'll have a link to my stream in the description as well. And lastly, if you really like this video and all the type of content that I put on my YouTube channel, I'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe. Not just for yourself and even just for me, but also just because of the way YouTube bumps up the algorithm when you do that. And it makes it so more people are able to see my videos and I'm able to help teach more people about this game, because that's what I kind of enjoy about it, is the commentary and the education. So other than that, I hope y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all next time. Later, gang.